We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man to go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your
Ahmadiyyah.
skin?
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, given to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I won't always smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric Malcolm.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got...
I'm not going to call P. Diddy a bitch. 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 Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah. Sean Combs is a bitch. They bitches too. Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah. Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah. You don't hit women when you're a man. You don't hit women when you're a man. P. Diddy a bitch. 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 Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah. I'm not going to call P. Diddy a bitch or any other name like that. But I ain't gonna stop anybody else from doing it. I'm not gonna malign them. P. Diddy a bitch. 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 P. Diddy.
All right. Hello, everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, so let's get ready to get black into it. All right, I was on time today. Can you believe it? So with that all been said, everyone, please like and share this video. You know it doesn't cost you a thing, okay? And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr_A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. All right, so let's get this party started. Okay, so hello above all that drama. Bithia is here. Shalom to you, beloved. Buckhorse DC, Miss Antoinette. All right, Rachel, Laverne, Sandra, Kyle is here. Okay, let's get into it. Everyone get those likes up. Hey, Antoinette, all hell nah is in the house. All right, about damn time is here. Nessie X. Okay, so Ma'at Egypt, I see you, beloved. All right, Buckhorse DC's nefarious self. Okay, so everyone please like and share. Let's get into it now. I think this is the only live I'm going to do today because I have some appointments and some things to do. So that all being said, enjoy the Queen while you can. Okay, I have a myriad of things to talk about because I got to get this news out. First things first. So this is very interesting to me. Now, you all know that when the whole thing was going on with Breonna Taylor, I was reporting heavily on that. I had Kendrick on here, who was actually working with Breonna Taylor's family's attorney, Sam Aguiar. I interviewed him like twice. He was on here giving us a lot of information. And you may remember also that I was the first, if not the only one. I actually think I was the only one that actually posted the grand jury recordings. Okay, I was able to get those because I had inside sources. But anyway, with that all being said, it's very interesting to me that a judge has now decided that it was Kenneth Walker's fault, that it was Breonna's boyfriend's fault that she died. Judge rules Breonna Taylor's boyfriend caused her death. Okay, throws out major charges against ex-Louisville officers. Now, I find this very interesting. This case hit close to home because I actually grew up in Louisville, went to high school there and all of that. Okay, so let's talk about it. A federal judge has thrown out major felony charges against two former Louisville police officers accused of falsifying a warrant that led police to Breonna Taylor's door before they fatally shot her. Now, here's the thing. The judge is basically implying that because Kenneth fired a shot when he heard the officers breaking down the door and coming in, that is what led to the officers then firing back in a hail of bullets that then took Breonna's life. The question is, how does the judge come to this conclusion that it's in fact Kenneth's fault? Because these officers falsified a warrant And a judge signed that falsified warrant. They also lied on the postal inspector, if you recall. So how is any of this Kenneth's fault? You see, this is nothing more than a crooked judicial system siding again with the police when they have done nefarious things that end up in the life lost of someone who looks like me. I just want you all to pay attention. Because how does this even make sense? Now, the same breath, they're saying that it's Kenneth's fault, but they also at the same time say that they falsified a warrant that led police to Breonna Taylor's door. Had they never falsified that warrant, they wouldn't even have been at her door. And let us not forget that the person whom they were looking for, Jamarius Glover, he was already in custody. And he didn't even live at Breonna's address. So U.S. District Judge Charles Simpson's ruling declared that the actions of Taylor's boyfriend, who fired a shot at the police that night of the raid, were the legal cause of her death, not a bad warrant. Now, I want you all to really think about that. Not a bad warrant. So if they had lied about the warrant, they wouldn't have been there. That's all I'm saying. Okay, federal charges against former Louisville police detective Joshua James and former Sergeant Kyle Meany were announced by U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland in 2022 during a high-profile visit to Louisville. Garland accused James and Meany, who were not present at the raid, of knowing they had falsified part of the warrant and put Taylor in a dangerous situation by sending armed officers to her apartment. Yeah, because they flat out lied. You see, they were a part of that whole thing where there was lies told on the postal inspector who they claimed, some of the officers claimed that the postal inspector said that there were suspicious looking packages being delivered to Breonna Taylor's home. The postal inspector later came out and said that he never said such a thing. Okay, that was all a ruse. That was just them trying to come up with some level of probable cause so they could in fact get a warrant and go there in the first place because they thought that there was drug money there. That's what they thought. But anyway, goes on to say, but Simpson wrote in the Tuesday ruling that there is no direct link between the warrantless entry and Taylor's death. Simpson's ruling effectively reduced the civil rights violation charges against James and Meany, which had carried a maximum sentence of life in prison to misdemeanors. The judge declined to dismiss a conspiracy charge against James and another charge against Meany, who is accused of making false statements to investigators. So the police officer lied to investigators. I want you all to think about that. Now, when police carrying a drug warrant broke down Taylor's door in March of 2020, her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, fired a shot that struck an officer in the leg. Walker said he believed an intruder was bursting in. Officers returned fire, striking and killing Taylor, a 26-year-old Black woman, in her hallway. Let me tell you something. If I hear somebody coming through my door in the wee hours of the morning, and I know that nobody has any business coming up in there because I know I'm not a criminal. I don't have any drugs in there. I have not been engaged in any illegal activities. Far be it from me to think or assume that that's going to be the police. I'm going to think that it's someone trying to perpetrate a home invasion. And I'm going to fire too. That's what most people would do. Now, I'm sorry. Words stand your ground when you need it. Please pay attention. So goes on to say, Simpson concluded that Walker's conduct became the proximate or legal cause of Taylor's death, saying while the indictment alleges that James and Meany set off a series of events that ended in Taylor's death, it also alleges that Walker disrupted those events when he decided to open fire on police. Now the judge is talking as if he knew they were the police when he decided to open fire on the police. First of all, he didn't decide to open fire on police. He decided to protect and defend the home and he and his woman. That's what he decided to do. Walker was initially arrested and charged with attempted murder of a police officer, but that charge was later dropped after his attorneys argued Walker didn't know he was firing at police. These low down dirty devils. Let me tell you something. Black people in this crooked criminal justice system, in this racist piece of hellhole state or country, we can't get any justice ever. This is what they do. They constantly make excuses for the police's nefarious behavior. They don't want to hold them accountable for a damn thing they do as it pertains to taking the lives of Black people. But I want you to think about how these two Black officers went into a home of a white couple who engaged in a gun battle with them, for the same exact reason that Kenneth Walker fired his gun, because they too thought that it was someone committing a home invasion. Now, the thing is, these people actually had drugs in their home. They actually were guilty of having drugs in their home. But nonetheless, when they got into a shootout with the police and they ended up dead, well, the officers went straight to jail. Okay, they're now in prison. You see how that works? You see how that works? This is a total miscarriage of justice as far as I'm concerned. Now, goes on to say a third former officer charged in the federal warrant case, Kelly Goodlett, pleaded guilty in 2022 to a conspiracy charge and is expected to testify against James and many at their trials. Federal prosecutors alleged that James, who drew up the Taylor warrant, had claimed to Goodlett days before the warrant was served that he had verified from a postal inspector that a suspected drug dealer was receiving packages at Taylor's apartment, which was all lies, as I told you. But Goodlett knew that was false and told James the warrant did not have enough information connecting Taylor to criminal activity. According to prosecutors, she had added a paragraph saying the suspected drug dealer was using Taylor's apartment as his current address, according to court records. 2 months later, when the Taylor shooting was attracting national headlines, James and Goodlett met in James's garage to get on the same page before James talked to investigators about the Taylor warrants. Now, a fourth former officer, Brett Hankinson. Now, we already know about Brett Hankinson. He is so nefarious. Now, let us not forget that this is the same one that Kenneth alleges that was trying to set him up and all of this. Because he was going around talking about the story and doing interviews, and he had inside information because of working with the family's attorney. But nonetheless, Brett Hankinson was also charged by federal prosecutors in 2022 with endangering the lives of Taylor and Walker and some of their neighbors who he fired into Taylor's when he fired into Taylor's windows. A trial last year ended with a hung jury, but Hankinson is scheduled to be retried on those charges in October. Now, in 2022, the city of Louisville agreed to pay $2 million in a settlement lawsuit filed by Kenneth Walker in federal and state court. In 2020, CBS Mornings co-host Gayle King asked Walker, "What does justice look like for you, for Breonna Taylor?" "Breonna Taylor is sitting right here next to me," Walker said. "That's the only justice for me." So anyway, this is all so sad. They really tried to say this is Kenneth Walker's fault, a man who was in his girlfriend's home, minding his own black business. They were trying to go to sleep. In fact, they were asleep, okay, peacefully. And then thugs wearing badges burst in the doors with a falsified warrant, okay, which led to gunfire. And then one of the officers gets shot in the leg. Now, mind you, like I said, Kenneth didn't know it was an officer. And then Breonna ends up dead. But it's Kenneth's fault. I'll tell you, black people can't win for losing. Christopher said it's clearly an improper investigation. Yes, it absolutely is. This stuff is just sickening. I get so sick and tired of hearing this stuff over and over and over again. Okay? But let me continue. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Before I continue, let's have a word from our sponsors at 12 Tribes. Likes up, everyone. Thank you.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so order your 12 Tribes today. Don't forget, you can go to Etsy.com and look for Lisa Crafts, and also Walmart.com. Now, in other nefarious news, white fragility author Robin DiAngelo is accused of plagiarizing minority scholars in PhD thesis. Honey, I knew they were going to find something to bring her down on, because if any of you know Robin DiAngelo, she's the one that has called out white people for their racism, for the anti-black talking points, their microaggressions, and all of these things. And basically, she says it's because of their own fragility that they're so fearful, okay, and so hateful, some of them, to people who look like me. So now they're accusing her of plagiarism. Okay, Robin DiAngelo, the author of anti-racism consultant, the author and anti-racism consultant who rose to fame and made a fortune scolding white people for their inherent bigotry, has been accused of ripping off the work of 2 Asian American scholars in her 2004 doctoral thesis. I'm sorry, anything to disparage her. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, a complaint filed with the University of Washington and obtained by the Washington Free Beacon outlines 20 examples of alleged plagiarism in the white fragility author's dissertation. Whiteness in Racial Dialogue, a discourse analysis. So they're saying she plagiarized her dissertation. I wonder if it's because she just didn't cite it properly. I just have questions. You see, for those of you who are in college or have gone to college, well, those of you who are in college, you have to realize, above all that drama said Asian, I'm calling bullshit. Okay, it sounds crazy, right? Camila Sierra says, who? Well, that all been said, for those of you who are in college, you know that when you write a dissertation to get your PhD, you have to use original, your own original wording or whatever. And if you're using other sources to gather your information, which is definitely going to be the case, then you have to cite it correctly. And if you don't cite it, given the author or the source where you got the information from, they'll call it plagiarism. And many people have gotten kicked out of college for just that. Okay. Trust me, because I know someone who did. But anyway, and it was good for her as far as I'm concerned, because she got mad at me because I wouldn't do her work for her. Why wouldn't I do her work? Because the last time I did her work and she owed me $250, she didn't want to pay what she owed, made up a bunch of BS excuses. So then I knew she would need me again. And when she did, I refused to help her. And so she just copied and pasted like a fool and got kicked out consequently. Okay. So anyway, the bottom line is you can't be plagiarizing stuff in college, and everybody should know that. But anyway, it goes on to say, among the examples cited are 2 paragraphs reproduced almost entirely from Northeastern University's Thomas Nakayama, who is Asian American, and co-author Robert Krizek, in which DiAngelo fails to provide adequate attribution. Now, another example in the complaint shows DiAngelo allegedly playing fast and loose with a paragraph written by Asian American professor Stacy Lee of the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Now, in it, rather than clearly delineating that Lee had summarized the work of scholar David Theo de Goldberg, the information was presented in such a way to appear as though DiAngelo herself was providing the summary herself. So she probably just forgot to cite it. I'm not even joking. I'm not trying to make excuses for her, but she likely forgot to cite her work. Now, this woman is very intellectual and intelligent. I'm quite sure she has no need to plagiarize someone's work for a dissertation. It's not like she was getting paid for it. Okay, she probably just didn't correctly cite it. People make those mistakes. For those of you that follow the spiritual channel, and you know that I do PowerPoints on there often. Alice said queen is petty. Okay, about damn time said a hustling queen. I meant that. Mr. Elevation said, and queen is petty, rightfully so. Y'all are calling me petty. Well, yes, I am petty. I have to admit. But I don't think I was being so petty in that situation. She didn't pay me my damn money. So if you don't pay me what you owe, I'm not going to help you again. That's just how it goes. Okay. So anyway, above all that drama says they are playing fast and loose with the rules. Okay. So with that all being said, she probably just forgot to cite it. But like I was saying, those of you who follow the spiritual channel where I do, PowerPoints often, well, if you notice that when I'm using other authors' work, other than my own, that I always put their name in the year. That's citing your work. I do that so you know that I didn't come up with this study and this research, that someone else did. And I also tell you the scholar that I'm using. You see, that's how you give credit to the person who's the original author, rather than trying to act as though you yourself came up with those talking points or that research. But, maybe she was trying to just take the credit for it. I don't know. But likely, I would say, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she just forgot to cite her sources correctly. And now it looks to me like they're just reaching, okay, trying to dig up dirt. Now, what they didn't say is that she plagiarized that book she wrote called White Fragility, why it's so hard for white people to talk about racism. okay, by Robin DiAngelo. Please pay attention. And the foreword is by Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, goes on to say, it says that National Association of Scholars President Peter Wood told the Beacon that such a move in academic circles is tantamount to forgery, saying that it's never appropriate to use the secondary source without acknowledging it, and even worse, to present it in one's own words, said the ex-Boston University provost. That's plagiarism, he says. Now, on her own website, on the accountability statement, DiAngelo goes into great detail about how she claims to hold herself accountable in a variety of different contexts when it comes to her business and personal dealings with non-whites, saying always cite and give credit to the work of BIPOC, which is, Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Okay, people who have informed your thinking. This is what she writes in a section explicitly about how to properly provide academic citation. So that's what I'm saying. She's always citing her work. Okay, I've read much of it, and I know she does. And so that's why I'm saying she probably just forgot. Now, when you use a phrase or idea that you got from another person, credit them, she says. As the Beacon points out, DiAngelo's status as a doctor and her PhD in multicultural education have been key to promoting her book, her high-dollar speaking engagements, and her therapeutic seminars, where attendees pay up to $40,000 a head to hear all about how racist they are. Well, they come there and pay for it. They need to know. All right? They say she's often formally referred to either as Dr. Robin DiAngelo or Robin DiAngelo, PhD, in marketing materials, including the header of her own website, where she claims to have coined the term white fragility in 2011 in an academic article. Now, the allegations against DiAngelo follow a rash of recent similar accusations raised in the highest levels of American academia. Former Harvard President Claudine Gay faced dozens of plagiarism accusations before resigning in disgrace in January. Her Columbia University counterpart, Nimat Munasho Shafiq, who resigned earlier this month following a spate of an anti-Israel protests on her campus, came under fire for allegedly screwing a former underling out of credit in a 1994 research paper. These people are just digging up dirt. Okay, I'm not even going to finish this because this is all crazy. They said that she didn't respond. DiAngelo did not respond to the post request for comments. Asked about the veracity of the complaint, University of Washington spokeswoman Dana Robinson Sloat told the Post, "We're committed to the integrity of the research conducted at the University of Washington. All complaints are carefully reviewed." Let me tell you all something. At the end of the day, here's the thing. I'm not going to even say that she committed plagiarism, like I said, because had she, in her dissertation, she likely would have been kicked out of school. She would have flunked. She wouldn't have passed the PhD program, okay, because they're real big on that. Now, if the professors who graded her works didn't say that she plagiarized, who are they to come back and try to dig up dirt? I mean, this is decades later. Please make it all make sense. They're just trying to make this woman look bad. Above all, that drum said, even the queen is seeing this is all bullshit. Yes, that's what it is, okay? That's exactly what it is. And here's the thing. I want you to pay attention because they said that she put it in her own words. So basically, she paraphrased. She didn't put it word for word exactly how they said it, okay? That's what you're supposed to do, all right, at the end of the day. Now, that all being said, or at least that's what I like to do. I like to put things in my own words. Now, I still cite the sources. But like I said, I just think she forgot, and I think they're grasping at straws. Are they trying to say now that her PhD is, in fact, invalid because they're accusing her of plagiarism? Well, she's already gotten the PhD now. They're not going to take it back. So, all crazy. But I want you to pay attention because this is how they attack people who look like them, who defend or speak up or speak out against racism, bigotry, anti-Black rhetoric and all of those. People who speak out against those things and are serious about it, they have a problem with them. And they'll do anything they can to disparage them or make them look like they're not credible sources. Okay, please pay attention. All right, now if she was talking trash about Black folk, do you all think we'd even be having this conversation? Okay, I doubt it. Okay, so let's talk about Diddy. I'm sorry, before we talk about Diddy, let's talk about Mark Zuckerberg. I want you all to pay attention because Kabami wants us all to think that she's all for us having our rights and privileges and all of this. But here's the thing. Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook and Instagram, has come out and admitted that Biden's administration pressured Facebook, pay attention, to censor stupid 19 content. Says it was wrong to suppress the post that about Hunter's laptop coverage. This came out this morning. Now I want you all to pay attention. Zuckerberg admits to caving to White House pressure on censoring content. Now, let me ask you all this. Do you all want to live under a regime where they control what you can and cannot say? You want to have to sit up here on ScrewTube and use words like sexual. You can't say the actual word or grape, just ignorant stuff. Do you all want to have to do that? Because that's what Biden's administration puts out, and that's what Kabami's going to do, the same thing. The same thing. They talk about rights and privileges and being able to, be in charge of your bodies and all of that. The same ones who gave us mandates. The same ones who put us on nefarious lockdowns and closed up businesses, leading many small business owners to go out of business. People who had businesses for decades went out of business. You all remember the reports I showed you? And they said only essential businesses can stay open. And they were the ones who got to determine and deem which businesses were in fact essential. I'm sorry, but during that time, liquor stores were open. Smoke shops were open. Are those essential businesses? I don't think so. So at the end of the day, Mark Zuckerberg is now coming out and saying what we already knew. That Biden's administration was definitely telling big tech companies to censor people for whatever they said about stupid 19. Let's not forget how ScrewTube was taking down my videos saying medical misinformation, but never told me what the misinformation was. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? A whole load of BS. So this is what y'all want, a communist regime that sits there and tells us what we can say, when we can say it, and how we can in fact say it. Anything they don't want us to talk about, they'll just censor it. Take down your videos. You won't be able to say anything about it. That's how that'll go. Is that what y'all want more of? Because that's what Kabami's going to bring to the table. Because you can best believe and rest assured that she's going to have the same policies as Biden. And all this stuff that she's talking about she's going to do, she could have already done it or suggested that Biden do it. But did she? Let her fool you if you want to. And here's the thing. All of these bootlicks and black bootleg and gatekeepers that are sitting there trying to pressure people into voting for her, are sitting there saying that, if we don't vote for her, we're voting for Trump and all this idiocracy. And then basically saying that, we just don't want her in office because she's a black woman, or we're questioning her identity and all this ignorant stuff. At the end of the day, they're just making excuses to try to make the rest of us feel bad. Why can't it be that we don't want to vote for her, the ones of us that don't? Because we know that she's a whole fraud. Because we don't agree with the things that she says or does. We don't like the fact that she said to our faces she ain't going to do nothing specifically for black people. And we don't like how she said it. Maybe that's why we don't want to vote for her. Maybe we're tired of the same old, and know that if she gets in office, she's going to do the same exact things that Biden has been doing that haven't served us well. How many of you know somebody? Dorada said cackling like a hyena. Exactly. How many of you know somebody? One's in the chat. How many of you know someone who had to quit their job, got fired from their job, or had to retire early due to those nefarious mandates that they imposed, trying to force people to do things they didn't want to do? How many of you know somebody? One's in the chat. Because I know plenty of people. And a group of people in New York sued, and they won. Okay? Thank you. Everybody's putting ones. So we can all say that we relate to the fact that they deprived us of our rights and tried to force our hands and make us do things to which we didn't want to do. That's what they did in some cases. They made people do things that they didn't want to do. But now they want to sit here and talk about it as it pertains to reproductive health, or that women should be able to do what they want with their bodies, but they didn't have that same energy. You see, it's okay for them to want people to have abortions. That's okay. They're not pro-life. Then they sit up there and lied and said that Trump is not for IVF. When I showed you the video that he absolutely is. See, they lie too. It's not just Trump telling lies, they lie. Most politicians, if not all, lie. So you can't believe any of them. 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10, okay? Or pro-family says that crazy bitch areas. Exactly. Oh, it's on the Ferris, but let me continue, honey, because this is all crazy. Now, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg, or Zuckerberg as I call him, admitted Monday that the Biden administration pressured Facebook to censor Stupid 19 content and acknowledged it was wrong to stifle the post coverage of Hunter Biden's infamous laptop. Like we didn't know that. I told you all they were trying to hide that stuff, trying to sit up there and lie and say it was Russian disinformation. And then the man who turned in the information about the laptop to the feds got run out of town through fear of taking his life, lost his business, his home, and all of that. You all remember that? I showed you the interview. Now, in an explosive letter to House Judiciary Committee Chairman Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio, Zuckerberg wrote that senior Biden administration officials, including the White House, repeatedly pressured Meta to censor content related to the Stupid 19 pandemic in 2021. Why did they want people to hide that information and not talk about it? Because they wanted you to get that venom. It was imperative that you get it. And you already know what I told you about that venom. You already know what I said, what I thought about it. Okay? You already know. Now, those of us with sense, we already knew what time it was. And they didn't want people like me who were against it telling the truth about it. So they censored us and kept us from talking. And then when we told things about it that were absolutely true, the videos were taken down and called lies. Please pay attention. Now, in an explosive letter, he goes on to talk about how he was pressured. The content the Biden administration requested that Meta take down included humor and satire, according to the Facebook founder. And he said he regrets complying with certain demands. He's lying. Okay, he's lying. I want you to pay attention. Humor and satire. Who was posting satire about it? Maybe some people were, but that's not what he was taking down. He was taking down the damn truth. That's what he was doing. A lot of these platforms were. They were taking down facts and proof is what they were doing and saying that the fact checkers, which were the fake fact checkers, in my opinion, were debunking stuff. But they never told us how it was debunked. They never showed the proof and receipts of what was already said was lies. They just said fact checkers debunked it. Isn't that what they said? Saying, I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it, he says. I also think we made some choices that, with the benefit of hindsight and new information, we wouldn't make today, because you knew people were telling the truth, and you wanted to call it lies. Like, he's just as guilty as the rest of them. Zuckerberg vowed that things would be different in the future should the government make similar requests. Don't believe it. Like I said to our teams at the time, I feel strongly that we should not compromise our content standards due to pressure from any administration in either direction. And we're ready to push back if something like this happens again. Why is he coming out saying all this now? There's an agenda behind Mark Zuckerberg telling this. I want you to pay attention. Why is he coming out and admitting to this now and saying they're never going to do it again? That's so that we won't be worried that Kabam is going to do the same thing Biden did, because now he's trying to make it look as though, well, even if they told me to do something like that, I would never do it again. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Okay, please pay attention. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Zuckerberg separately added that suppressing the post-exclusive report on Hunter Biden's infamous laptop ahead of the 2020 election was a mistake. Yeah, they hid the information on that laptop because they didn't want it to interfere with the election. You see, the Democrats will do anything to win. Okay, I want you to pay attention. They will do anything and everything to win an election. That includes lie, cheat, steal, whatever. Pressure people to censor folks and all of that. That's my opinion. Now, he explained to the House Judiciary Committee, which has been probing Facebook's content moderation standards, that prior to the decision to limit sharing of the bombshell October 2020 story, the FBI had warned Meta about a potential Russian disinformation operation related to the Biden family and the Ukrainian energy giant Burisma, where Hunter sat on the board of directors. Saying that fall, when we saw a New York Post story reporting on corruption allegations involving then Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden's family, we sent that story to fact checkers to review and temporarily demoted it while waiting for a reply. Let me ask you all something. Do you all think that all of this stuff that they say about Trump, right, that they don't do the same exact things, at least most of it? Because think about it. What do you call it when you have a whole party, a whole administration sitting up here lying, calling the truth lies, and then sitting up here censoring stuff about them? You can't say nothing about Joe Biden's laptop or Hunter Biden's laptop. They called it Russian disinformation. They held back the story, didn't want people talking about it. Also, Joe Biden could win that election. That's what they did. And y'all don't think they're pushing agendas right now and narratives for Kabami? I told you the fix is already in, as far as I'm concerned. That's my opinion. Now, it's since been made clear that the reporting was not Russian disinformation. Oh, really? So you don't say. So it wasn't Russian disinformation. I told y'all that years ago. And in retrospect, we shouldn't have demoted the story. I just want you all to pay attention to how now they want to come clean. They're not telling us anything that the smart ones amongst us, the ones who are woke, not diet woke, the ones who really know the truth and have common sense and critical thinking skills, they're not telling us anything we didn't know. We knew they were lying from the get-go. Zuckerberg assured Jordan that Meta has put policies in place to ensure that similar censorship of stories doesn't happen again. Yeah, right. Saying that we've changed our policies and processes to make sure this doesn't happen again. For instance, we no longer temporarily demote things in the U.S. while waiting for fact checkers. Okay, Zuckerberg's letter to Jordan is a far stronger admission that mistakes were made in the way his company handled the post-laptop expose than the Tech Titans 2022 concession on Joe Rogan's podcast, where he says it sucks that the story was suppressed when it was not, in fact, Russian disinformation. See how they lied on Russia? They'll lie on anybody, quite frankly. Who blew up the Nord pipeline? They still want us to think Russia blew up their own damn pipeline, or was it perhaps the United States under Biden's watch? I have questions, because that's what I think. But let me continue. It turned out, after the fact checkers looked into it, no one was able to say it was false. Ha! So they were lying the whole time. Please pay attention, but now we're supposed to believe him? I think it sucks, though, in the same way that probably having to go through a criminal trial but being proven innocent in the end sucks. That's what he told Joe Rogan. I think the process was pretty reasonable. Still, this is what he said, defending the censorship effort. A lot of people were still able to share it. We got a lot of complaints that was the case. The Post report on Hunter's abandoned laptop revealed the existence of tens of thousands of emails between the president's son and business associates, which show how the first son leveraged his political access in his overseas business dealings. They still haven't come out and told us who dropped that little baggie of Coca-Cola at the White House when the Bidens were going on vacation. Now, I'm willing to bet you it was Hunter's, but you see how they swept that story under the rug? We've not heard anything else about it. Pay attention. Zuckerberg, and what are they doing with Coca-Cola at the White House? And this is who we want more of the same, because Kabami is just going to be another Biden sitting in the White House if she wins. Now, Zuckerberg also said that he doesn't plan on spending another $400 million plus to help finance local elections this cycle, after the so-called Zuckerberg's initiative was roundly criticized by Republicans as an attempt to influence the 2020 vote. Isn't that what he was trying to do? Spending $400 million plus dollars? Of course he was trying to influence it, wouldn't you say? That's my opinion. They were designed to be nonpartisan, spread across urban, rural, and suburban communities, he said. This is what he claims his motive was. Still, despite the analysis I've been showing otherwise, I know that some people believe this work benefited one party over the other. You don't say. My goal is to be neutral and not to play a role one way or another, or to even appear to be playing a role. So I don't plan on making a similar contribution this cycle. Get the out of here, Zuckerberg. These people are so sickening. Okay, I just want y'all to pay attention. Just want you all to pay attention at the end of the day. Okay, Laverne said a gang of gangsters. Exactly. Claudette said it's embarrassing. Powder in the White House, shaking my head. Yeah, exactly. Laverne said getting high as a kite. Miss Eve said Zuckerberg. Yeah, that's who he is. Jamal said Oliver North was up there with Contra Noriega and Hunter. Okay, About Damn Time says exactly. The white powder house, the white powder house, shaking my head. Powdered fools. Okay. Above all that drama said, hold on. Durana said he about to make the queen cuss. You already know. I was. Okay. Above all that drama said, this is why I hardly use Facebook, only for my store posting. I don't use Facebook at all anymore. F them. All right. Alice said Biden had some, I'm sure. You know he did. Laverne said the world is laughing at America. Me too. Mm-hmm. This is all crazy. But let me continue. Trump rally counter sniper backs bombshell evidence tampering claims by House GOPers. What is this all about? Hold on. I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And then you have idiots out here saying that the attempted assassination of Trump was a hoax, that it wasn't real. I'm sorry. Didn't somebody get killed? Okay, that was a hoax. Like, some people are so stupid. They don't know a conspiracy theory when they hear one. All right? Don't know one when they hear one. Please pay attention. I know it was real because I dreamt it years ago, like I told you all. But here we go. Let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
Was each individual building numbered, and was those indicated during the time of the actual security planning? Where is Thomas Crooks as far as the toxicology and all the other reports? Where was the white van, and what is the follow-up? Why was the FBI so early to release? And even Attorney General Pam Bondi, the former Florida Attorney General, said she had never seen in her time as the Attorney General a crime scene released at such a rapid pace. What was the coroner's understanding of when the body was released, why and how? Why is it that they did not show up to the morning briefing? Why was the Kubota dealership only 400 yards away not being looked at? Where are the encrypted accounts, and why are we not getting further information? Again, I think that we're understanding that we've investigated the culture of the Secret Service and what needs to change, and why DEI is not healthy for our military, for our security services, or otherwise. But I think that we need to further investigate the questions of why did this take place, how did this take place, and what do we do to prevent it in the future and moving forward?
Donald Trump's decision to make J.D. Vance his running mate has created a lot of controversy. Who is this guy? Is it good for the Republican Party? Is it good for Donald?
Okay. Anybody know what the hell he was talking about? Durana said, Alexa, play White Horse by Laid Back. This is all crazy. Mr. Elevation said, I have questions. Who planned it? Okay. I think the Secret Service planned it. I absolutely think they had everything to do with it. Not something to do with it. I think they had everything to do with it. And I also think that's why the director of the Secret Service resigned, so she couldn't get fired. So anyway, they go on to say a SWAT counter sniper who was working the Pennsylvania rally where former President Donald Trump was nearly assassinated last month agreed with Republican lawmakers on Monday that an odd pattern of evidence handling had occurred following the deadly shooting. Now, Washington Regional SWAT counter sniper Ben Schaefer said it was absolutely concerning that the roof of the AGR International building had been quickly scrubbed and the gunman, Thomas Matthew Crooks, his body disposed of before an official autopsy report could even be released. 5 House Republicans, Representatives Andy Biggs and Eli Crane of Arizona, Matt Gaetz and Corey Mills of Florida, and Chip Roy of Texas, hosted the panel discussion with Schaefer and other witnesses at the Conservative Heritage Foundation, saying, do you find it odd that literally only days after the attempted assassination of President Donald J. Trump, while the roof was too sloped to place individuals for counter sniper operations, that it wasn't too sloped of a roof for the FBI to go ahead and tamper, in my opinion, with evidence? It wasn't too slope for them to go ahead and tamper with evidence. In my opinion, with evidence by washing the roof off that may have had significant evidence on it. So they washed off the roof, knowing that it had evidence on it. Now, this sounds real sketchy. Y'all don't think this sounds shady as hell? Why would they go up there and wash the roof off? Now, they're the same ones that said that it was too slow for them to put someone up there because it could have been a danger. Like the person could have slipped off. So anyway, Mills, this is what Mills asked Shakur, referring to the chain of events following the July 13th shooting at the Butler, Pennsylvania campaign event, which left one audience member dead and 3 others injured, including Trump. Yes, I do, Shakur answered. Do you also find it odd that the body of Matthew Crooks had not only been released and cremated by the coroner, but that the coroner who's responsible for releasing the body had no knowledge of that? Now, that sounds all sketchy. Yes, absolutely, says Shakur. It sounds like destruction of evidence. That's what it was. That's what it was. Why would you go and wash off a roof before the evidence has been collected? How does that make sense? And how do you do anything with the body, let alone cremate it, without the coroner knowing? Now, when someone's deceased, the coroner is the only one that's supposed to touch that body, or shall I say, no one is supposed to touch the body before the coroner, until after the coroner has given assessment. So they didn't think it was okay to tell the coroner, that it was important to tell the coroner that the body was being cremated. Says it sounds like destruction of evidence, replied Eric Prince, a former U.S. Navy SEAL who founded the private military contractor Blackwater in the late 1990s. Former Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle, who resigned over her disastrous testimony to Congress in the wake of the near assassination of the 45th president, infamously said in her first interview since the attack that counter sniper teams had not been placed on the AGR International building where Crooks later perched because of the sloped roof. Mills also accused the FBI of a lack of transparency about Crooks's purported online research into explosives and encrypted overseas messaging accounts. Earlier, Shakur told Biggs that Crooks had been seen walking the grounds of the Butler Farm Show with a rangefinder scope should have elevated him from a suspicious person to a person of interest. As far as law enforcement was concerned, that would warrant some type of either investigatory detention or a stop and question, he says. Now, Crooks was first photographed by local counter snipers at 5:10 p.m. and observed by the rangefinder shortly after, around 5:38 p.m., according to Shakur. 33 minutes before he targeted Trump at 6:11 p.m. Now, the gunman fired 8 shots, striking Trump in the right ear and killing rally-goer Corey Compatore, age 50, and wounding critically David Dutch, 57, and James Koppenhaver, age 74. Counter sniper teams fired 2 shots in response, but it is unknown whether just one of those shots or both killed Crooks. The 20-year-old shooter's death was ruled a homicide by gunshot wound to the head. Now, Representative Clay Higgins, a former police officer and member of the House Select Task Force probing the Butler shooting, revealed in a preliminary investigative report to the panel's chairman, Mike Kelly, that the FBI released the body for cremation 10 days after the attack. Crooks's motivations remain a mystery for many lawmakers in the House and Senate, including Representative Michael Waltz, another member of the Select Task Force whose members traveled to Butler on Monday to examine the rally scene. At one point, lawmakers were spotted on the roof of the building where Crooks took up his position about 150 feet from the stage where Trump was speaking. Waltz said last week that FBI briefings had revealed Crooks's use of messaging accounts on platforms located in Belgium, Germany, and New Zealand. They said, why does a 19-year-old kid who is a healthcare aide need encrypted platforms, not even based in the United States, but based abroad, where most terrorist organizations know it's harder for our law enforcement to get it? How did he learn to build those IEDs? How did he learn to install remote detonators? How did he conduct those searches and not get popped? I still have a lot of questions. Well, so do I. And for good reason. Okay. We've heard both the Secret Service and the FBI kind of phrase it in different ways, that everything they've seen points to that he acted alone and that they have yet to find any co-conspirator. I find that hard to believe, and I want to see where's the proof. Well, the proof is in the pudding, if you ask me. And I absolutely think that the people that were co-conspiring with him were the CIA. I mean, not the CIA, the Secret Service. Now, that's just my opinion. Okay, that's all allegations. I can't prove it, but I absolutely think that the Secret Service had a whole lot to do with it. Now, any suggestion that the FBI is interfering with congressional efforts to look into the attempted assassination, which took place in Butler, Pennsylvania, is inaccurate and unfounded. This is what the Bureau said in a statement Monday evening. They say the FBI has been working closely with our law enforcement partners to conduct a thorough investigation into the shooting, and we have followed normal procedures in the handling of the crime scene and evidence. Really? Because I heard y'all washed off that roof, which likely had evidence on it. So how careful are you being with the evidence? Now, the FBI continues its painstaking work on the investigation to develop as complete a picture as possible of what led to the shooting, and we remain committed to maximum transparency as we continue to share information with Congress, which includes participating in open hearings and conducting multiple direct briefings and publish information for the public regarding the ongoing investigation. They say the crime scene was released to the property owners in phases as we completed our work at the AGR building, its surroundings, and at the Butler Farm showgrounds. Nothing was rushed and everything was documented as part of the investigation. The FBI arranged for the cleaning of the location where the perpetrator died, which is in keeping with normal procedures. The shooter's body was released to his family after coordination with the coroner's office and our state and local law enforcement partners. This is also in keeping with normal procedures. The Butler County Coroner's Office did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Sounds like a whole bunch of shenanigans and lies and BS. Okay, that's what it sounds like. Sounds like a whole bunch of lies and BS. Sharon says, this should show everyone how dangerous Biden is. Oh, yes, absolutely. Let me tell you all something. If you all don't think that Kagame getting in office is going to be like communism, please think again. Remember how I read you all that very thorough document last year sometime where it talked about the social credit reporting system that's wanting to be implemented by some people in the United States the same way they have it in China? Okay, I want you all to think about that. And how if you have a certain credit rating that you can't travel abroad or even within the state or the country. Think about that. How if your credit rating is a certain, low enough, your kids can't even go to certain universities. Y'all remember that? Is that how y'all want to live? Ask yourselves, because I'm going to tell you that the same people that want to censor people from speaking the truth about things that they don't want us to talk about are the same people who absolutely, in my opinion, of course, it's all alleged, will be the same people who want to strip us of our rights. They've already taken freedom of speech. There is no longer freedom of speech in this godforsaken country. If it were, I wouldn't have to sit up here on a daily basis and spell out words that are absolutely normal words that are not even curse words or, threatening words or anything like that. You can't even say them. Or they wouldn't have the algorithm set so that it's triggered by certain terms and phrases. T of y'all said the credit rating like in China won't allow you to get food, have a job, or survive. And I also want you to think about how Kagame is talking about, regulating the food prices so that she can stop price gouging. But if you ask me, you have to be careful when people say things like that, specifically crooked people like Kamala, because she's crooked in my opinion. Because here's the thing. How do we know she's not trying to control food prices? So that they can dictate everything. Because, there's an old saying that came out by some of the 1% elites, the global elite, that is. They have this saying that they said decades ago, that if you control the food, you can control the masses. If you can control the food, you can control the masses. Okay, they can use food as a weapon. I mean, they've already been doing it. with all these GMOs and chemicals and whatnot. But it can get much worse. Y'all seen the movie Soylent Green? Bafana Duba said they are being diabolical. Yes. There it is. Somebody put in the chat. Jamal was thinking it just as I said it. Jamal said Soylent Green, Queen. Exactly. And you took the words right out of my mouth. Okay, now let's talk about Diddy so I can get up out of here. I have an appointment to be at. So let's talk about Diddy, honey. This is all crazy because first and foremost, Diddy is trying his darndest to get out of these lawsuits and allegations. He doesn't want these criminal charges to be pressed, but it's a little too late for that, Diddy. You're not getting out of it, okay? Trust me when I say. Now, I reported to you on yesterday evening, for those of you who missed it, please go back and watch, how Diddy has made a move, his attorney that is, has made a move to get rid of, to have the lawsuit by Rodney Jones, aka Lil Rod, dismissed. This is all a last-ditch effort by Diddy's team to try to salvage what little he has left. They're trying to keep him from going to prison, going to jail, being indicted, but it's not going to stop anything. So now his attorneys have also said they're blaming the feds. They said the fact that the feds leaked information to the media on the day of the raids, they leaked that information to the media. They say the feds had to have done it. This is what one of his lawyers says now. Said that they had to have leaked this information to the media that they were going to do the raids because that's why the media was there to record everything. So they said the feds had to have done it, and they said that this was messed up and that, in fact, once they did it, they couldn't undo it. Said that this was basically their attempt to dirty future jury pools. So now they're trying to, when they say that, dirty and future jury pools, what they're trying to essentially say is that Diddy is not going to be able to get a fair trial. I want you all to pay attention. Now what they're doing is they're setting the standard, or they're setting the precedent that, you know, they're getting their ducks in a row to try to declare a mistrial, perhaps. Because they're saying Diddy's not going to really be able to get a fair trial because they've already muddied the waters. They've dirtied the future jury pool. I just want you all to pay attention. This is what his attorney said. Okay? This is what his attorney said. And so, like I told you, it's not going anywhere, Diddy. You can run, but you can't hide at the end of the day. It is what it is. And let me read his exact words. The attorneys, that is. His attorney, Jeffrey Lichtman. And let's not forget, this is the same attorney who defended John Gotti and the Mexican drug lord, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. And also, speaking of El Chapo Guzman, you know, that Sinaloa cartel member that sued Diddy, the entire Sinaloa cartel. Well, one of the leaders is El Chapo's son, if you all didn't know. Now, here's what he says. They were all there, ready to record. This is what Lichtman complained when he was on a radio show called Beyond the Legal Limit. He said they were all there, told about it, and breathlessly reporting what anonymous agents of law enforcement are telling them about what they're looking for. Evidence of sex trafficking. So he was saying the media shouldn't have known that. That's bad because that's just an evil thing for our government or law enforcement to do. But it wasn't evil or low down and nefarious and insidious what Diddy did, or what he's been accused of doing, shall I say? Because let's keep in mind that Diddy has not admitted to any of these things. He says it's all money grabs and lies. Now, Lichtman argued that the damage has already been done. He says by using the press to leak what they're looking for, they're just dirtying any potentially future jury pool. Okay, this is what he said, referring to reports that law enforcement sources had confirmed to the press that the search warrants were part of an sex trafficking probe. Basically, he said they shouldn't have confirmed anything to the press. They shouldn't have told the press anything. They not only leaked information that they were going to conduct the raids, and so the press was there ready to record, but they also told them why they were there and what they were looking for. Says the feds descended on Diddy's luxury homes in military fashion. Okay, so anyway, what do y'all think about that? I don't think that would have anything to do with dirtying a jury pool. You see, because for one, how does that even make sense? If they did tell the press that they were there looking for evidence of sex trafficking, Well, the jury was going to know this anyway. Wouldn't they know this when they come to court? Once they've been chosen, they're going to find this all out anyway. I don't know how that would dirty the jury pool. That's not like that would be something that's top secret. Okay. I think he's just mad because now we all know what type of investigation is being conducted on Diddy. So anyway, now let's talk about what this woman says about Diddy. I'm not going to read this whole thing because trust me, it's a whole essay. I'm going to read some of this information. Now, I read an excerpt from it to you guys last night, and this is from Danielle Smith, okay, who's the former editor of Vibe magazine. That's the one that I told you. She said Diddy threatened to kill her and all that. Diddy is nefarious, okay? I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's very lengthy, but I'm going to read some of it. Now, a thing happened between Sean Combs and me, unlike what he has been accused of over the last 8 months. What occurred between us was not sexual. It was professional, demonstrative of the way dynamic and domineering men moved in our heyday. Diddy and I worked together a lot, competed in a way. So often I thought I came out on top. I was mistaken. I had reason to fear for my life. What happened was insidious. It broke my brain. I forgot the worst of it for 27 years. It was July 1997. In the fading smoke of the murders of Tupac Shakur and the notorious B.I.G., I was named editor-in-chief of a music magazine called Vibe. Started with Quincy Jones and the Time Inc. in 1992. The magazine chronicled Black music and culture with rigor and beauty, 10 issues a year, for an audience that was relentlessly underserved. When I took over, we thought hip-hop might have died with our heroes, and we were determined not only to keep it alive, but also to give it the cultural credit that was due. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds. Hip-hop was both in mourning and in marketing meetings. Diddy, Biggie's creative partner and label boss, was the personification of this dichotomy. His Bad Boy Records was having 100 million a year. Diddy was making big money. I want y'all to pay attention. 100 million a year back in the 90s? That was a whole lot. So much due to the work of Biggie and Mace, as well as Diddy's own debut album, No Way Out, which was anchored by the blockbuster Biggie tribute, I'll Be Missing You, featuring Faith Evans. Other singles, like It's All About the Benjamins and Been Around the World, functioned as a score of hip-hop's megawatt moment. Its commercial evolution and international expansion. No Way Out would go on to sell over 7 million copies. So I wanted Diddy on the cover of Vibes magazine for December of 1997 and January of 1998, a double issue. And I wanted him to wear white feathered wings. I don't know why she wanted Diddy's ass dressed up like an angel, because he's clearly the devil. But I digress. My point of reference was the poster for Heaven Can Wait, a 1978 film starring Warren Beatty. Now, the movie is about a quarter. I'm not going to get into all that. I'm going to skip past all that. Now, goes on to say the good, the bad, and the puffy. Not so elegant, but it would work if fashion director Emil Wilburkin and I got Diddy, then known as Puffy or Puff Daddy, to put on the angel wings. And if we also got a shot that looked even slightly mischievous, we could do a split run of the cover, one with heavenly signifiers and another with hellish ones. Possible cover line: bad boy, what you gonna do? So this is what she wanted to put on the cover of the magazine: a picture of Diddy with wings like he's an angel, and then another picture of him looking mischievous, and then saying, bad boy, what you gonna do? Okay, now the photo shoot took place in Manhattan in September of 1997. I had probably said hello to Diddy at the event, but the shoot was the first time I was around him for an extended period. Either it was a crowded set or I just felt catastrophic. I wore yoga pants and an oversized t-shirt. I remember wanting to minimize my bust more than my bra was already doing. I remember cajoling, and I remember knowing that as a Black woman, I was in a no-win situation. To fail to live up to my male boss's low expectations and to succeed was to invite their resentment. That day, Diddy was begrudgingly compliant. We finally got him to shrug on the shoulders, the white feathered wings on his shoulders. Now, he cooperated up to a point, but eventually his controlling ways took hold. A few days later, Diddy wanted to see the Vibe covers before they went to press. It wasn't our policy to show covers before publication. So after I told him no, we heard that he planned to come to our office and force us to show him what we'd chosen and to make us choose something else if he didn't like what he saw. Diddy is so darn nefarious. I'm sure I was concerned, but my priority was getting the issue to the printer on time. There was vague talk about Diddy's beating a woman at the bad boy offices. So during this time when she's getting all this together, she'd already heard people whispering about Diddy beating up some woman at the bad boy offices. So this is all crazy. Now, in 1996, he was found guilty of criminal mischief for threatening a New York Post photographer with a gun. Diddy was also busy denying that he had something to do with the 1996 killing of Tupac Shakur. In September of 1997, Diddy had a reputation for shaking the tables. I'd reconciled the rumors with his relevance, and the math was ugly and simple. I had to have him on the cover. So a few Vibe employees put together a plan to make me safe if he chose to visit that day. Lord, they were trying to get protection ready because they already knew Diddy was coming and he was bringing hell with him. Please pay attention. So I was in my office on the 3rd floor of a building on the boring corner of Lexington and 32nd Street. A few doors away from me, Vibe's research chief, Ava Chen, was with the managing editor, Jesse Washington, in his office with her back to the open door. Jesse looked over her head as if someone was behind her. Jesse stood up. Now he's 6'4", and Ava saw him trying to make himself even taller as though he was sparring off. And so she turned toward the door and saw Diddy with his 2 security guards. So this man, 6'4", and he's even scared. He's trying to square up, like, he's trying to get himself in posture for the melee. Now, so she turned toward the door and saw Diddy with 2 security guards. Diddy asked, "Where's Danielle?" The receptionist had already notified other colleagues that Diddy had walked into the editorial bullpen. And as he and his 2 associates looked into various cubicles and offices, my coworkers eased into mine. Diddy came there to raise hell, honey, and everybody knew it. Now, paper proofs of the cover story and both the angelic and devilish covers were on my desk. I grabbed the unruly stack of 11 by 17s. Staff members shuttled me from office to office to the spiral staircase and the alternate 2nd floor elevator bank. They had to hide this woman, y'all. I want y'all to pay attention. Diddy is nothing but the damn devil. Okay, now this woman's sitting there trying to do her job, but they've got wind of it that Diddy's coming and he's about to raise holy hell if they don't show him what he wants to see, because you don't dare to tell him no. And so they had to shuffle this woman from one office to another. Tanya C said Diddy is nothing without bodyguards. Exactly. About damn time said he's a two-faced sugar queen. This is all crazy. Hey, DSB beloved. So now listen, says that they shuffled me from office to office to the spiral staircase and the alternate 2nd floor elevator bank. I made it to the 32nd floor between Lexington and 3rd Avenue, clutching the proofs. Jesse eventually came down. He took the pages from me, flagged a taxi, and put me in a yellow cab home to Brooklyn. Honey, she had to get the hell up out of there. Had to get ghost. Now, here are the pictures of the covers that she had with her, the proofs that Diddy wanted to see. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Y'all see those? He looks kind of goofy in that one with the green background, if you ask me. Kind of Macaulay Culkin-ish, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, let's continue. And so she had to get up out of there, got in a taxi, and headed home. The next day, though, I was right back in the office. My assistant received a call on my line. She said, "It's Puffy." I got my mind right and picked up. He was still on message. He wanted to see the covers. I was still on message. It's not what we do. It was then that Diddy told me, as I've retold hundreds of times over the years, that he would see me dead in the trunk of a car. Now, I want you all to think about this. This fool was threatening her life over magazine proofs because he wanted to see the pictures and she didn't want to show them. So he threatened that he would see her dead in the trunk of a car. Not missing a beat, I told him he needed to take that threat back. Take it back, I said, sounding as if I were 10 years old. Take it back now, I said, or I'm calling my attorney and you're going to jail. He said, I know where you are right now. You're right on Lexington. I called my personal lawyer. I do not know what he said to Diddy. Within 2 hours, Diddy faxed over an apology. One of my male bosses was furious that I had not involved him. Now, Diddy had called him to complain that I sicked my lawyer on him, as if I somehow wasn't playing fair. So it's okay for him to threaten to see her dead in the back of the trunk of a car, but it's not okay for her to call her attorney. This is all crazy. Then he had the nerve to snitch on her to her boss. Diddy acts like a spoiled ass kid. Soon after those menacing encounters, I walked into work one morning to find my staff members tamping down panic. A couple of servers, which back then were as big as end tables and twice as heavy, had been stolen. Lord, Diddy got somebody to break in there and steal the servers? And the scuttlebutt was that the theft was an inside job, that someone on Vibe's publishing side had let in movers from Bad Boy. Now, keep in mind that Quincy Jones own Vibe? So more than likely, somebody definitely let Diddy in. Now, it was almost time to send pages to the printer, and the whole issue was saved on those servers. All the editorial changes, all the pages with the advertising adjacencies that had been paid for by clients, gone. In response to fact-checking inquiries, Diddy's via representatives would not comment on the record for this piece. I've always remembered the threatening call. I mentioned it in my memoir called Shine Bright, though I got wrong the reason for his vexation. But I repressed the rest. The only reason I know the details is a chance meeting that I had with McDowell Artist Residency this May, Ava Chin, who is now an author and a professor of creative nonfiction, and who was also there. I hadn't seen her in decades. Ava asked me early in the residency if I was ever going to write about Vibe. I said yes, and she said good. Then just before I left, I mentioned that I was writing about Diddy and told her that he said he would see me dead in the trunk of a car. In the previous months, accusations of his serial abuse of women, which had been rumored for years, had surfaced. And I was thinking about my professional relationship with him. I asked her if she remembered the tense situation. Over her turkey club, Ava said, I absolutely remember. She wasn't privy to the phone conversation, but she knew other details. Now, she told me my own story. I don't remember being shuttled from office to office. Shuttled is Ava's word. Because this was obviously so traumatizing for the poor woman, that she actually repressed some of the memories, didn't want to think about it. I don't recollect exactly how Diddy and I left things after he threatened me in 1997, but it's not as though we could stop dealing with each other. Hip-hop inching its way toward world domination needed us to keep contributing in our own respective ways. On my end, documenting its trajectory, and on his, branching out into television, liquor, and more. We interacted when necessary. Sometimes an exchange was just us smiling for cameras. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Now, here's a picture of her and Diddy in a 2006 photo that she took. And she basically talked about, in this part, she talked about how she had to sit there and smile with this man whom she'd heard all these heinous things about, the things that he had done. She said she resigned from Vibe in 1999 and went on. And when I was rehired in 2006, Diddy was among the first people I called to appear on a cover. I did so because I knew the cover would both succeed at the newsstand and reaffirm to my new venture capitalist chieftains that I still had my chops and that my industry relations were flawless. So in the series of photos, Diddy and I were playing the roles of mogul and editor-in-chief, and we were nailing it. Okay, so let me show this picture. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Mr. Elevation said, why did you call Diddy again? Exactly. Like, some of these people are just dumb, if you ask me. Okay, some of these people are just dumb if you ask me. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. So with that all been said, here's another picture of them. See, if she knew all of this stuff about Cherry said, Diddy killed hip hop. Christopher said these people will do anything for fame. Clearly, if you know Diddy's so nefarious, why would you be all up on him, calling him and all that? Now look at this. Honey, there's no way he could have been kissing all up on me after he threatened to put me in the trunk of a car over something so minuscule. Okay, so then she goes on to talk about, I'm not going to read all this, but she goes on to talk about how she had been thinking about the photos a lot lately and all of the photos of her and Diddy together. And it's kind of bizarre to see myself smiling in pictures with someone accused of such heinous crimes. And then she goes on to talk about all the lawsuits that he's been hit with as of late. So I'm going to skip past all of that. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Okay, so in 1994, when I was the music editor at Vibe, the investigative team that I was part of figured out that the 27-year-old R. Kelly had married the then 15-year-old Aaliyah. We got our hands on the license, and the photographer, Dana Lichtenberg, and I both chased Kelly to a tour stop in Philadelphia. I wrote the cover story that verified what had only been wild rumors at the time about his sex crimes. This is all crazy. Like I told you guys, hold on, I'm trying to see. I wrote down parts that I wanted to read, so I don't have to go through this whole thing. And I want you all to pay attention because like I told you all a myriad of times, that there's a whole lot of people who knew what R. Kelly was doing decades ago. Okay, please pay attention. Now, goes on to say, she says, as for the women, our bodies are not our own. Breasts and asses are meant to be squeezed anonymously from behind a crowded bar. That was real and difficult to work. Hold on. Anonymous were made to be squeezed anonymously from behind at crowded bars. They were real and difficult to work. And but these things were being celebrated. Some girls survived, some dried out or skeletal or just tough. Some women via luck or brilliance or exfoliation excel. Some married and some just disappeared. The business moving at this seductive breakneck pace split some of them. Many female executives and top-level creative types started as standout students, interns, administrators, and receptionists. We communicated in the posh ladies' room, in hip restaurants, and in nods and fleeting eye contact in office buildings. One intern said she was hesitant to speak to me because the guys downstairs had told her that I was a bitch and that I hated pretty girls. So I was a bitch because I had heard that the sales guys were using their offices as late night hotel rooms. This woman remembered that I used to look away from her when she passed me in the hallways. That's because they were having relations with a lot of these men. Likes up, please like and share. Then she goes on to talk about Kim Porter. Now, I'm not going to read all of this, but here's what she did say. She said that in 1998, on a late autumn afternoon, I visited Porter at the Park Avenue apartment in a 12-story limestone building. Diddy was in the process of buying it. And it was something that she shared with her two little boys. Now, Diddy was not there that afternoon. I rarely ended up in Porter's presence, but when I did, her personality seemed to be a mix of femme fatale and mean girl. The mean girl felt fueled by a broken heart. Probably because she knew Diddy was kissing all up on this lady. Who knows? Now, Porter and I and two other friends eventually went to a buzzy restaurant for cocktails. Sometime later, Diddy comes in. He knew all of us at the table, but didn't acknowledge any of us. He demanded that Kim hand over her purse, and then he turned it upside down. Now, her belongings splattered on the table among lime eights and ice crumbs. He snatched up her bank cards to the beat of, "You ain't got no business in here." You need to be at home with those kids. This is what Diddy yelled. And then he said something like, get home as best you can. From the sidewalk, I saw Kim being hustled into the limo in which we had arrived. One of the friends, more tired than terrified, shot me a look like, you good? And we were gone. Now here's a picture of Diddy at one of his all-white parties sitting up there with Kim and the kids. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. If y'all can see that. Sitting up there with Kim like he's just as nice and family-oriented as could be. All lies and BS. And then Diddy would go on to say later, a woman deserves to be nurtured and taken care of. That's what Diddy ended up telling her 8 years later for their 2006 cover story. He said, Kim taught me that. She taught me how to love. She says, maybe he learned that. Maybe he didn't. To be honest, pressing him didn't occur to me. I had just laid off almost a dozen good people. This was the beginning of the end of print magazines and another one of those times when I did what I had to do to keep the magazine alive. It was my job. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. More of Diddy's nefariousness. That crazy bitch Eric said he didn't learn ish. No, he didn't, okay? No, he didn't. Because at the end of the day, he's the same person who later went on to beat the hell out of Cassie in the Intercontinental Hotel in New York, which we all saw, and commit another of a myriad of other alleged assaults and crimes. So clearly he didn't learn anything. Dervis said such a demon. Yes. My aunt Egypt said Diddy has a split personality. Well, he does. And, you know, he said that he was diagnosed as being bipolar, and bipolar people absolutely have split personalities, in my opinion. Another thing is that's why I called him on the thumbnail. I said that Diddy is the real life Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because he absolutely is. He can sit there and go off on you, curse you out, and threaten your whole life for something so minuscule as you not doing something he asked or not showing him something he wants to see, for pictures of a magazine cover, and then tell you, oh, I know where you are right now. Like he's got eyes on you no matter where you go, and he can find you at any location, do whatever he chooses. But then in the next breath, he can come and hug you in front of a crowd of people and then talk nice to you and give you a kiss on the cheek. Definitely split personality. Definitely split personality. Okay, Ron, you said, yes, he is, Queen. Okay, absolutely nefarious, honey. With that all being said, I'm out of here. I hope you all enjoyed the broadcast. Listen, I'm not going to be back live today because I have things to do. Okay, unless and only if there's possibly some breaking news. But other than that, I don't think you all are going to see me for the rest of the day. So until next time, beloveds, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Hit him with that flavor. All in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I I do not play by my piece. This time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got